Liberal Chicago mayor slammed for blocking access to police scanners. Mayor Lori Lightfoot, in the face of all this crime, has decided, you know what? Maybe if we cut off their access to the scanners, they won't know how much mayhem is actually going on. And when I say mayhem, let's talk about that for just 1 second. Let's go over to heyjackass.com. Let's take a little peek. This is illustrating Chicago values. So far this year, we've got shot and killed 638 human beings. Shot and wounded, 2,832. Total shot, 3,470. We just surpassed over 700 homicides. We're at 703 homicides in Chicago, making Portland's homicide count of 94, 95 seem just minuscule, crazy. Every 2 minutes and 24 seconds, a person is shot in Chicago. So since we've been talking, somebody's been shot. A person is murdered every 11 minutes and 51 seconds. So from the time I started to a few minutes from now, a handful of minutes from now, somebody's life is going to be ended in Chicago. So that's, when we're talking about this stuff, we're not just blowing smoke. You got a big city, granted. You also got some big city problems. And one of them, Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot, is, she's not going down the full disclosure road. She's like, nah, maybe we'll just cut off the scanner access and maybe we can just kind of hunker down and pretend that a murder isn't happening under every 12 minutes. All right, well, it's one way to do it. Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot is tightening her grip on press and public access to 911 scanners in a sweeping censorship move, sparking outrage from members of the city's press corps. The city's plan will impact our ability to provide timely, accurate, and potentially life-saving news to you, a group of outlets said of the alleged censorship. William Kelly, an area reporter whose press credentials were yanked earlier this year by Lightfoot, kind of sounds like Jonathan Cho from Como and now Discover Institute. He's a senior fellow. You're not a real reporter. Well, actually, he is. And the fact that, King County executives say otherwise, it doesn't really do anything for me, right? So you got this reporter who shared his disdain for the ban Wednesday on Fox and Friends, where he slammed the Orwellian implications of Lori Lightfoot saying, no, we're not doing that. Now, this is not the first city that's gone down this road, right? We're news for reasonable people, not news for, hey, jackass, although that would be a good, you want to read some crazy news, go over to Hey Jackass and look at it there. So other cities have enacted this. They've cut off their feed. Used to be that police were only able to communicate via radio because we didn't have computers running around hooked up to by satellites, live feeds. You didn't have cell phones. So police do have the ability to communicate outside of the whole, CB radio system. But it's also one of those things where, to me, I haven't heard a lot of police officers complain about it, but I could also envision, where you got a situation where people hear it over the scanner and they go to the site and they, make a mess of police investigation, whatever. This is not only censorship, this is malicious censorship, said Steve Ducey. She pulled my media credential. I sued her in federal court, and sadly, the Chicago Media Press Corps hadn't said a word about it. First, they came for me. Now Lightfoot is coming for the entire Chicago Press Corps. Now, the whole entire Chicago Press Corps doesn't cover basically crime, right? Just a small fraction of it does. Other cities have done this, but particularly in Chicago right now, this is some terrible optics. This is some terrible optics by its leadership because they haven't explained why they've done this. They haven't explained the benefit to the citizens. And a lot of citizens, based on the crime I just read to you, a lot of citizens check out the scanner before they walk down to the corner store to hear if there's something that they should be avoiding. I've read that in multiple sites. Hey, we use the scanner system religiously so that we know what's going on. And then you can also, people can be alerted to, hey, what the deal is. Now, you will be able to hear the 911 scanner, but it's going to be on a 30-minute delay. That's not all that relevant. You got a shooter down at your local mini mart, taking out the store because that store owner can't afford the security guard with the AR-15s. Did you catch that podcast? Yeah. Philadelphia. Yeah, a story out of there, right? Blocking access to 911 scanners raised concerns that not only will local media outlets struggle to deliver fast and accurate news based on information gathered from them, but the public will lack a crucial safety resource, which can help determine whether specific locations across the city are safe to visit. That's kind of one of my thoughts is this is a transparency thing, right? Every time you turn around, the government's doing something else. Now, maybe there's an angle here that's not being reported. Maybe there's an angle here that I am not aware of that really impacts public safety from the standpoint of police officers having interference from citizens, and other cities have gone down this road. But I wasn't really able to find much on that when I was kind of going through and reading this. What I just found is a lot of angry people going, mayor's not being transparent, just going the opposite direction. So, you've got a whole system out there that is based on talking about transparency, but then when it actually comes to doing it, hard no-go, right? Because transparency means you got to deal with how many murders did we say? 703 in a year? That's tough to get around, right? That's tough to get around. And then another issue you've got that if you don't have this kind of transparency, we'll never really know what the crime stat numbers are, right? Just won't know. So let me just go over here, this other website thingaroo, and I'm going to read a little bit from the letter that from the Chicago news organizations that basically outlines their concerns with the mayor just basically pulling the 911 scanner feed. Mayor Lori Lightfoot has revealed the city of Chicago's plan to block live transmission of Chicago police scanners, restricting access to transmissions that have always been available to the public and to the news media. We're a coalition of Chicago area news organizations concerned with this planned encryption and are sharing our concern to raise awareness about the city's plan will impact our ability to provide timely, accurate, and potentially life-saving news for you, the citizens. Our newsrooms monitor emergency scanner traffic to report everything from traffic congestion to developing threats to public safety. As news unfolded about the July 4th shooting in Highland Park, the media and the public turned to police scanners and reporting informed by police scanners to take cover to stay safe to locate the missing. All right. I mean, that seems pretty reasonable to me. I get that. But if there's a flip side that, we're missing here, I'd love to know that. I just don't know of one. A coalition member was able to report on a shooting last month in Chicago's River North neighborhood as the perpetrators remained at large, alerting the public of this imminent danger. To me, what Lori Lightfoot is doing feels like just trying to hang the curtain over information. Just, if you don't see it, it's not there. We can all ignore it. It'll go away. Crime will go away. Because now we've got, there's something going on the scanner. All right, that's happening. All right, that shooting over there is happening. It's in real time. You take that away, people aren't going to want to tune into the 30-minute delay, are they? No, they're not, because we're so instantaneous. We want that video now. We want that information now. I release a video a couple of days after event occurs. You guys are like, you're late on this one, Sean. You got to do better. Yeah, right. Yeah, I know, right? And so I'm, constantly working on things too, because things are so instantaneous now that getting this stuff recorded, getting it edited, getting it, pumped back out to you, there's a ton of work that goes on to the mechanisms of what you're watching right now. There's a ton of work. And sometimes it gets effed up. Sometimes I screw up. Sometimes one of my guys screws up. Sometimes our technology, we haven't got the right button set. We don't have the right workflow going on, and things go sideways. So, some stuff happens, but to have this happen in your neighborhood, in a city that is really struggling with, let's be honest, gang violence, really struggling with gang violence, it doesn't feel very good to have, something that cast a honest light on what was going on as far as, all right, got another shooting. A shooting took place at a courthouse and police district in Chicago last week in broad daylight. The perpetrators fired more than 40 shots and escaped on an expressway. You did not see, hear, or read about that incident as it was happening. The city of Chicago prevented you from knowing about this dangerous incident by blocking all live scanner transmissions. This jeopardized the lives of everyone at that police department, everyone at that courthouse, everyone on that expressway. That's what they're saying. I can't disagree with it. This is also the media who make their living on the evening news. Famous Don Henley song, you just, dirty laundry. They're looking for dirty laundry. But you can spin that as public safety as well. And it is to do with public safety. If you know something's going on down that direction of your town, you're probably going to go the other way, right? I guess I'll just walk uptown. It's a little bit further, but I'll go up there. I'll avoid the, police sirens and the cops crouched in the bushes because they're trying to take out some guy who's, beat up his whatever significant other and got all that going on. A lot of that going on in Chicago right now, right? A lot of that kind of stuff. I'm talking about it down in Portland. You got some crazy stuff going on, some crazy storylines. And to me, the more transparency you can have, I don't know. I'm kind of okay with that. Real-time access to police scanners promotes transparency and accountability by law enforcement. So we get into a bunch of other stuff here. And, some of it is, well, police told us this thing and videotape showed the other. Police scanner information said something. In a lot of these situations, not trying to make excuses, but you've got, a million different things going on. I recently followed a storyline on Maui. You had a shark attack from a Washington woman that was there on vacation with her husband. I believe it was vacation. And, she's 60 years old. They're out swimming off of a beach that I was at last time I was there in March, swam off of this beach as well. And they saw a shark go by. So it was reported they saw a shark go by. It was also reported that the husband fought with the shark, got the shark to go away. Husband swims back and wife is gone. She's gone. She's just gone. So she probably got eaten by a medium-sized tiger shark because that's what are sitting off of the shores of Maui, especially in South Maui. And this was kind of in between Kihei and Wailea, just on the southern end of the island. But there's so many different pieces of information. And I'm just, reading this, and this is a shark story. This is not a murder or anything. This is a shark ate human being, shark encounters, human being type story. There's so many different little pieces of information. And if you're trying to put together the story and you don't have, all the pieces that are out there, like a scanner, like a 911 scanner information, to me, all right, yeah, it makes sense to have further greater transparency. But like I've said, maybe there's another reason she's done this, but she hasn't shared any reason why, whichever way you want to look at it, hasn't really shared, what this is going to accomplish. She's just basically stonewalled everybody, as you do when you've got the murder rate that you have in Chicago right now. So, all right, that's it for me on this one. Thank you so much. I will catch up with you in the next one. Till then, be safe. Use the scanner. Don't use the scanner. Do you guys use scanners? I haven't since I was a kid. They're cool to listen to though. All right. Get yourself a scanner. Yeah. All right. Bye for now.